and how the word Geula not only teaches us about what the Geula is, but furthermore, the word Geula is going to teach us what we need to do as a preparation to lead into the Geula and to bring the Geula will be learned from just the word Geula. And this is starting with somewhat of a well-known pirush. The Rebbe mentioned it more than one time, that the word Geula, redemption, being redeemed from the nations, is made up of the word Goyla, which the word Goyla is exile, Golos, exile. There's only one letter difference between the word Goyla, exile, and the word Geula, redemption. Which letter is the difference? There's one aleph in the middle, which makes all the difference. How does one aleph change the whole idea of Goyla, of exile, into Geula? This is because the aleph is hinting to something. The aleph hints to a word. The first word we wrote up on the board, the word aluf. If you learn the Chumash, you'll find it speaks about the alufei Esav, the kings, the masters, the rulers. The word aluf means like a ruler, a master, a king. Which is the aluf that we're referring to in the word Geula? That aleph is referring to the master of the universe. What does this mean? When we bring aluf, when we show who is really running this world, who is really in charge of everything that's happening, when we show that there is an aluf, there's a master, there is a balabayas, an owner, that is running the show on this world, that is Geula. Geula is not creating an entire new society or an entire new world. Geula is about taking everything we have now, taking all the technology, all the advances, all that's been built up, and bringing out and showing people, showing ourselves and showing people how there is a ruler. There's one in charge of everything. There's one God in charge of the whole world. Not everyone can do whatever they want. When you bring that aleph changes from Goyla to Geula, brings a Geula. Now most of the letters in the word Geula are really made up of Goyla, of the exile, the word exile. This is because it's from the work in the exile. When we work in the exile to bring in that aleph, that's what brings the Geula. Through our hard work, through the years of exile. So that's the first level, that's the idea, the difference between exile and redemption. And this could be learned from the original redemption, the first redemption of the Jewish people, which teaches us also about every redemption until the final redemption. The first redemption of the Jewish people was from Mitzrayim. In Mitzrayim, one of the very important parts of the Geula was to teach the Egyptians until they know that there is a God. Pari said in the beginning, Lo yadaiti es Hashem, I don't know Hashem. Hashem said, I'm going to bring all these makis, all these plagues on the Egyptians. V'yadu Mitzrayim. in order that the Egyptians should know that I am God. So we see over here what brought about the redemption from Egypt. What brought about the redemption was letting the Egyptians know, bringing into the exile, showing them the Balabayas, the Aluf, the master, the one in charge of this world. And when that happened, the Egyptians actually helped. They gave all their money, and they lent all their money to the Jews to go bring out into the desert. And even more than what the Jews asked for, the Mitzrayim were giving more and more and more. The Yidden said, we have enough already, we don't need any more. The Egyptians were deciding, no, you don't have enough. Take more, take more. Because the actual Goyla, the exile which was afflicting the Jews, now switched. As soon as we brought that aluf into the Goyla, as soon as they realized that Hashem is in charge, all of a sudden the whole thing switched. And instead of being against the Jewish people, they now became the pushing force to bring the Jewish people to their next step. Which that brought the step of Yitzias Mitzrayim. The first step of the redemption was Yitzias Mitzrayim, just leaving Egypt. Which that's the idea. Leaving Egypt is the idea of showing that everything that happens in this world, there is a balabas. There's an owner to this world. Afterwards, after Yitzias Mitzrayim, there was another step. After Yitzias Mitzrayim, the Yidden went and got the Torah. That's another step for the Jewish nation. It wasn't enough just to leave Egypt. They brought the Torah. Now about the Torah, it says that the Torah is 2,000 years before the world. 2,000 years before the world was created, Hashem already had the Torah. What does this show? The revelation of the Torah is much higher revelation of just in creation of having the world. So this revelation of Hashem is the boss of the world only reveals us godliness. It reveals Hashem how He is in charge of this world. But is that really Hashem's true, His true value, that He's in charge of the world? It's like, imagine you have a real genius who can figure out the deepest ideas. And he's sitting with a small child, and the small child is trying to figure out the simple puzzle, the simple riddle. And this genius helps the child figure out his riddle. So in the child's mind, wow, this guy is so smart. What a genius. He helped me figure out this riddle. But a person who knows better, is that really the geniosity of this person? The fact that he's able to figure out this simple riddle that a child couldn't? That doesn't really say who he really is. So too, when we say, wow, God is the master of the universe, does that show us really what God is? Chassidus explains to us that that's not showing what God really is. That's as much as we could see. That's good for us. That's very impressive. But that's not bringing out what Hashem really is. The revelation of the Torah, that was bringing more. The Torah is already higher than the world. That's already revealing Hashem the way He is above the world. But even revelation of the Torah, that's not yet the ultimate. The ultimate is when Mashiach will come, there'll be the deepest revelation of the Pnimis HaTorah. There'll be the revelation of the hidden secrets of the Torah. Which that's revealing even more how much Hashem is not what we think. However great we try to make Hashem, it reveals us more and more and more how that's not really what He is. He's really much more beyond that. So we have three levels over here. We have Hashem the way He's known through leaving Egypt, that He's the boss over the world. We have Hashem the way He's known through Torah, the revelation of Torah. And then you have the revelation of even higher than that, of how the only thing that exists is Hashem. These three things are also hinted to in the word Goyla. In the word Geula. In the word Geula is hinted to all of these high levels that will be revealed when Mashiach will come. Not only hinted to the first level, Hashem is Balabas, the owner, the master, But the word Geula hints to the idea, also the idea of Torah, also the revelation of Torah. How so? The word Aleph could be hinting to Aluf, but another word it could be hinting to is A'elfcha. A'elfcha, the second word over here, A'elfcha, that means I will teach you. That's the idea of teaching. Over here referring to the teaching of the Torah, which that's higher than being the Aluf, the master of the universe. I'll teach you the Torah. This was more the idea of Matan Torah. The third idea, which will be fully revealed when Mashiach comes, the third idea of even higher than the Torah, that is revealed hinted to in the third Pirush of the word Aleph, of the letter Aleph. The letter Aleph, if you switch around the letters, you can get to the word Pella, something very strange, something amazing. Which something amazing shows this revelation of Hashem, the way He is even higher than Torah. The way that is revealed through the secrets of the Torah. So how does this teach us practically how to prepare for Mashiach? Where do we see these three things in preparation? So over here the answer is very simple. There's three aspects in Avodah. One is the aspect of things when we're dealing with worldly things. It could be in business, or mostly in business transactions, mostly dealing with people. To bring even in those, to bring godliness, to bring the idea that there is a master to this world in simple business transactions, in simple everyday work. That's the first level. That's Yetzias Mitzrayim. Actually, for cheating in a way, they used to have a way of cheating when they would measure things with different different measures, with rocks or whatever they used to measure with. So certain people had a trick. They would make their weight a little heavier. If they wanted to buy, they made their weight a little heavier. If they wanted to sell, they'd make it a little lighter. They would play around with the agreed upon weights in order to cheat, make a higher profit. Hashem says in the Torah, don't do that. Don't cheat with your weights. In the same pasuk it says, don't cheat with his weights. It says, I'm God that took you out of Egypt. What's the connection of cheating with your weights with the God that took you out of Egypt? The idea is, when we believe in God took us out of Egypt, that God is the master of the world. He runs the place. Egyptians, according to nature, were totally powerful. God took the Jews out. You see who's in charge? God's in charge of the world. If someone knows God's in charge of the world, what are you cheating for? You think you're going to make more money by cheating? So this is the idea of the first level of Aluf, that Hashem is the master. We show Hashem is the master when we do everything in simple life according to the rules of the Torah, and we do it l'shem shamayim. That's the first level of preparation for the Geula, of the level of Yetzias Mitzrayim. The next level is the Elfcha teaching. That is through learning Nikud Torah. That's what we do mostly in yeshiva, through learning. When we learn Torah, that's bringing Hashem's revelation into the world in a way that's higher than the world. That we get from learning Torah. The third level of Pella, that you get from learning Pnimis HaTorah. You get from learning the secrets of the Torah. So the lesson, how do we prepare? How do we bring close to Mashiach? It's these three steps. Number one, everything we do in simple life, bring out the point, there's someone in charge. I can't just do whatever I want. Yesh Balabayas, there's a master to this world. Furthermore, when we learn Hashem's Torah, we're preparing for the next idea. The idea similar to Matan Torah. And when we learn Pnimis HaTorah, then we're preparing for the third idea Pella. So, Meretz Hashem will be successful in all three of these things, and will bring to the final goal.
Amen.